We must address and evaluate our nation's and specifically our government's handling of COVID-19, from medical censorship and unhinged spending to unconstitutional vaccine mandates. We have seen our country economically crumble and constitutional freedoms trampled. As someone who has served in the U.S. Navy for over 28 years, I am particularly disheartened by the vaccine mandates placed on our service members. It is unacceptable that service members are being discharged and losing their opportunity to serve our nation because they have a legitimate religious issue with the vaccine. Unfortunately, this medical tyranny hits very close to home, as it is directly impacting my Georgia's 9th District. In fact, my office was recently contacted by a major in the Army from my district who is being forced out of military service for refusing to take the vaccine. He, like so many others, applied for a religious exemption and followed the process set out by the Army. However, like almost everyone, his exemption was systematically denied without explanation. This is unacceptable, unconscionable, and unconstitutional. Yet it's not just those in Northeast Georgia. My own staff right here in Washington, D.C. has been impacted by the Biden administration's medical tyranny. A staff member on my staff just a few blocks away had a full-ride ROTC scholarship, graduated, and should be training as an Army Field Artillery officer right now. But because he made the decision to not receive the COVID-19 vaccine and applied for a religious exemption, his hard work and service were dismissed, and his constitutional freedoms were violated. After submitting his religious exemption request, he received a generic form letter declining his request, and it is currently on appeal. In the meantime, he decided to join the good fight, and I'm proud to have him on my team as we battle this fight. To be frank, I'm downright disgusted that our service members are being forced out by Biden's woke military. This is unacceptable, and we will not rest until there is justice. My question to you is this. You know, we've talked about young men and the risk of myocarditis. Well, what is the military full of? Young men in their 20s. So, do you think it was wise for the Department of Defense to force the COVID vaccine on young men and women in uniform?
No.
No.
There's no scientific basis to have that policy. None.
Thank you. I think the decision by the Department of Defense is having an incredible negative effect on the strength of our military. You are seeing a decline in new recruiting, that's correct, in new recruiting, and you are seeing great, fantastic combat officers and combat service members being forced out of our military. It is a disgrace, and that is something that we really need to make sure we fix.